Hello, everyone. My name is Casper, and I'm the City of Thompson's Communications Officer. On Wednesday night, we had a small group of community leaders and business people come out to hear a pretty comprehensive update on our progress towards a new pool, including the design and floor plan of what we hope will become Thompson's new pool facility. We are in the middle of a fourth wave, so we kept our group fairly small, and we do plan to host a in-person update for our whole community in November and in December. But in the meantime, we know that everyone's been waiting patiently for news, so we did want to share this update with everyone online before we can get everyone into a room and answer your questions. If you're new to Thompson, you might have heard a little bit about our pool and why it was closed back in 2019. Council took a tour of the facility. They called an emergency meeting almost immediately after, and the next day the Norplex pool was closed. There's a lot of information out there about that closure. I won't go into a lot of detail. But if you're interested, there is a report prepared by an independent engineering firm, and our public presentation is available at thompson.ca. And I'm sure we'll post those links in the captions and comments of this presentation as well. One way or another, it was a huge loss to our community. The Norplex pool wasn't just Thompson's pool. It serves over 50,000 people across northern Manitoba in a place where we have pretty long, dark winters. And in the summer, we're surrounded by water. We're surrounded by rivers, lakes, marshes, and it's a huge part of our lifestyle. Pools provide high resistance, low impact exercises for the elderly, people with disabilities, and anyone else who struggles with traditional exercises on dry land. They teach our children and our grown-ups life-saving swimming skills. And those skills don't just protect us in emergencies. They also make sure that we can enjoy the best that northern Manitoba has to offer, which is our clean lakes, our natural beauty, and most importantly, our youth need options. Youth in northern Manitoba often struggle with mental health, and many are increasingly exposed to crime. And people who work with at-risk youth often cite a lack of recreational options. And the thing about pools is that they're affordable for families. You don't need expensive equipment to go swimming at your local pool. And they're a positive gathering place for kids to interact with their peers or with their mentors. So the Swim North Community Pool Project is a community-driven committee supporting the City of Thompson in the construction of a new pool. The committee helped with planning and design of the new pool, and it's helped us raise funds for the construction of the pool. The committee also has the support of our regional partners, including MKO, KTC, MMF, and NCN, all of whose members make up that 50,000 people population who use our Norplex pool on a regular basis. Since the pool closed, the City of Thompson has been putting aside the Norplex pool's original operating budget. That's the money that the city would normally have spent on running the pool if it was still open. And that comes out today to about $1 million. Swim North has also fundraised about $73,000. The biggest success by far has been Winter Wonderland, which overshot our fundraising expectations more than 6 times over last winter. We also received some sizable private donations, and we have an ongoing raffle for a handmade quilt that's designed by local artist Denise Dyer. And if all of those tickets are sold, it'll bring in roughly $5,000. The trickiest part has been grants. Our team has applied for several grants across Canada, but most of the grants that we've identified are looking for shovel-ready projects, and the pool project just wasn't quite there yet. The big question on everyone's mind is the Investing in Canada's Infrastructure program. We talked a lot about this grant throughout the process of planning the new pool. This was a grant that could fund between $10 to $15 million of the pool's total cost. The approval process for the grant was delayed quite a bit by the pandemic, as a lot of things were. And the city applied for 5 projects under this grant, and we ended up receiving over $80 million towards the repair of our roads and our water systems. Thompson's pool was not among the projects named to receive funding during this last round of announcements, but we also haven't received formal notice that the project was rejected, which is usually a part of the process for grants like these. Still, we're 2 years in, and both the Swim North Committee and City Council don't feel like we can delay this project any longer. And so we are at a point where we're looking at alternatives to fund this project. Even though there's been challenges, there's also been progress. Over the last year, the city and Swim North have been working with our engineers at Stantec to design a new pool. They looked at the features our community valued in the original pool survey, the challenges created by the original Norplex pool, and we've updated them for today's accessibility standards, which is a huge thing when you're constructing a new facility right now. So without further ado, I give you our vision for a new pool in Thompson. So these images are renderings provided to us by Stantec. Little details might change in the original design, along with the name of the facility. The colors near the front doors, you can kind of see that red, not red, it's blue and green. Inspired by the Northern Lights and matches up pretty well with the new place brand that Travel Manitoba designed for our community 2 years ago. You probably haven't seen a lot of that place brand lately. It's being ran by the Thompson Community Development Corporation. But as that organization kicks off, I hope we'll see a lot more of it around our community. 3 locations were considered when we were looking at the new pool facility. We could either build it beside the original Norplex, across from the original Norplex, attached to the TRCC, or beside the TRCC. At the end of the day, we decided to build it beside the TRCC, kind of in the area where the outdoor walking track is in. It helps us preserve parking space in the area. It helps us kind of create a new pavilion and improve the green space around the area. But it also helps us avoid those complications that come with creating a building attachment and any other complications that might arise from humidity from the pool affecting the TRCC, things like that. It's just a simpler process to build a separate building. Inside, the pool has a lot of the same features of the first Norplex. It has 2 swimming areas. It has a water slide, a sauna, and a multi-purpose room for meetings and birthdays. The differences here is that in the new pool, the 2 tanks are going to be separated, for one. That way, if someone decides to poo in the pool, we don't have to shut the whole place down. We only have to look after 1 tank. The competition tank continues to work as normal. The new pool is also going to have sloped access into the tanks. In the recreational tank, it's kind of what we describe as a beach entry, but the competition tank is also going to be accessible. And there's also going to be a dedicated universal family change room. So now here's the big challenge. For all of these features, Stantec has quoted the city $19.7 million, plus or minus 15%. Without the Investing in Canada's Infrastructure program, we need to raise most of that. There are real options that the City of Thompson is exploring right now, and the city and city council is discussing the best way to fund the bulk of the pool construction without burdening taxpayers. In the meantime, the city needs partnerships of all shapes and sizes to help us close this gap. And that's the end of our presentation. I'm excited for a time when we can all get together in person later this year, and where we can answer some of your questions, hear your ideas, and hopefully get one step closer to a pool back in Thompson.